Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor. We're going to get another episode here in Witcher 3, so special thanks to Black Falcon and Sammy once again for sponsoring this playthrough. If you'd like to sponsor a playthrough yourself, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. Let me know what you have in mind. We can discuss. Alright, let's go ahead and get in here.
What a waste of time! The Earth shall revolve around the sun before you comprehend these rules.
Got a minute?
Why not? Aldert Geert, Assistant Professor in Contemporary History at Oxenfurt Academy.
Geralt of Rivia, Witcher with tenure. I'm looking for a woman. Long hair, dressed in black and white. Seen anyone like that?
Of course not! Unlike the populace, I know the horsewoman of war is pure poppycock.
I like how the scholars are stupid. He doesn't know that the Earth does revolve around the sun. He doesn't know that that is an actual woman. But he's so pretentious about his knowledge.
Horsewoman of war.
It's pretty fun.
What's that about?
Folk say an omen. A beautiful phantom rides the fields at night, looks as you described her. Armies follow her, and all who cross her path meet with misfortune.
I can vouch for the last bit. Know where they saw her?
No, facts interest me, not fairy tales.
Not a place I'd ever expect to find a scholar. Take it you're fleeing the war?
Quite the opposite. Chasing it. I'm headed for the front.
Tired of life?
I seek knowledge, which I value more than life itself. I've a thirst no dusty old tomes can quench. I wish to see the Nilfgaardian invasion with my own eyes, understand it, and record it all in my chronicle, my magnum opus.
Interesting. We need somebody to describe war, what it's really like. Not colorful banners and generals making moving speeches, but rape, violence, and thoughtless cruelty.
Ah, I see you lack the polish of the Academy. Rape and cruelty are details of no import to the war's course. Trinkets on the garment of conflict, one might say.
Tell that to the people whose houses burned down. War reached Novigrad yet?
Nope, but it's only a matter of time. Nilfgaard on one bank, Redania on the other, drooling over the city like dogs over a juicy bone.
Many a ruler's choked on that bone.
True. We value our liberty in Novigrad, and we know how to fight for it.
The scholars especially.
The sword is not the only weapon. Do not forget, architects from our academy designed the city walls. Walls no war machine has ever crumbled.
Gotta go. So long.
A moment, Witcher. You strike me as a man of the world. Are you familiar with Gwent?
No, and I don't have time to learn.
But the rules are quite simple. Come, let's play.
Why not?
Splendid. Here's how it's done.
I like how you just go in. Get a fog or clear. I think I'll go with the clear because the fog one, if you draw the fog, it's bad. Okay, so let me, that's not... Okay, yeah, you don't have to draw. Okay, so basically there are 4 different factions. If you do want to play this is a fun little sub-game. There are some plots that are actually involved with this, and you can get different sort of pathways through Gwent than you would otherwise have access to. So you don't have to play Gwent and be good at it in order to get access to all of the content in the game, but it does enhance some of the situations and some of the quests that you find yourself in if you can play Gwent. And it's just really fun. Like, it's a really, really well done sub-game. So I will be going through. Black Falcon asked me if I would try to, you know, do all of the Gwent stuff. So we'll go through and do it. And I really like playing Gwent also. So I'll explain when we get in there. That stuff. So you have to have at least 22 unit cards, and you want to keep your card count, and the total unit card strength is what all these numbers add up to. Basically, the higher the number, the better the card is, not taking into account the effects of the card. Then you have special effects, which we can show you when you get in there, but basically it'll make certain cards weak based on those effects. And there are some other effects in there too, like decoy. You can play it and you pick up one of your cards that has like an enters the battlefield kind of effect, which we'll get in there when we get, or we'll talk about it when we get in there. But you want to get down to 22 playable unit cards. You always want to go with the minimum amount of cards. So we're just going to get some of these low ones out that don't have very powerful abilities to go with them. We'll put a 2 in there. There we go. So we're pretty weak early on. We have a lot of really strong artillery though. 6, 6, 6, 6 on the artillery, and I think we have an 8, right? An 8 as well, so very, very strong artillery. Actually, and a 5 there. So we don't want to run the torrential rain, which weakens all artillery cards, because it's likely we're going to have artillery. Yeah, you get to pick one of 4 factions. Northern Realms are pretty much all we can play early on. We have all those cards. You can get Scoia'tael, which are like elves and dwarves, non-humans. We don't have any of those cards yet. In the Northern Realms, like basically they have strong artillery, as you can see, and then they're kind of known for this tight bond mechanic as well, which is if you have multiple of the same kind of card that has tight bond in it, that little handshake, then they double in strength. So if I have 2 of these guys on the battlefield at the same time, they'll each have 5 strength. Or they'll each go up to 10, so it'll be a 10-10. So if you can play around their tight bond mechanics, then they can be really good. They also have, I think, some pretty good spies. I think they have the best spy selection in the game. We'll talk about spies more when we get in there. So just really good spies, tight bond mechanic. They can be very strong. Scoia'tael, we'll run into those a little bit later in the game, but they are very versatile. They can either go back row or front row, so you can play around weather cards really well and different bonus cards. Monsters usually have weaker overall units, but they can swarm the battlefields. They have, I forgot what it's called, but you can basically summon up a whole bunch of the same kind of monster out of your deck. So they're very, very good in the first round. So they kind of bum rush you. But they can't, and they have a lot of melee. So they are pretty vulnerable to weather effects that destroy melee, or that weaken melee. So you have to bring a lot of clear weather and things like that. They do have a really powerful general though. And then Nilfgaard is kind of the best all-around faction, I think. It's either Nilfgaard or Northern Alliance. They have a pretty good selection of spies, and they just have really strong, high base effectiveness cards, like just really high numbers. And they just kind of bull rush their way through everything. And they have some really good leaders as well. But anyways, we're gonna go Northern Realms. You can pick which leader you want, and you can use their faction effect. So this guy, I clear any weather effect. So if they cast, you know, torrential rain, biting frost, whatever, I can clear it by using that. It's basically like an extra card that you always have. Or you can choose, you get to pick a fog card out of your deck and play it instantly. You can see the other locked ones if you want. Doubles the strength of all your siege units. Destroy your enemy's strongest siege unit. So yeah, you can go find these throughout the world. And usually you can buy them from store owners or some special quests and events, but a lot of them, a lot of the more powerful ones especially, you will win by beating other Gwent players. Whenever you beat a Gwent player for the first time, they'll give you a card. If you lose to them, you can keep playing them again until you beat them. And some are obviously going to be more challenging than others. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. Okay, so at the beginning, you're dealt 10 cards, and you can throw 2 of them back and switch them out for 2 other cards. So if you have something that is on average weaker, or is weaker than the average card in your deck, you want to throw it back. So we can throw that back. We have Biting Frost, which weakens melee units. We have quite a few melee here, so we probably don't want that. Okay. Now how this works is you both have 10 cards, and you take turns playing cards out. It's a coin flip to see who goes first. And then whoever has the highest power here whenever a round ends is going to win that round. Now, you have to win 2 out of 3. So you can put down high-powered cards, You can throw them all out early on and just try to win, or you can kind of lowball them and see if they'll overcommit to the board, and then you can just sacrifice a round and win the next 2. So there are some decent strategies out there, and you'll see a lot of the strategies at play over time. So we're just gonna throw out one of our weaker cards here, also melee. Actually, that's a range. Let's throw out a melee one, and we'll just kind of barely beat them. That's usually a pretty good strategy, is to hold some of your more powerful things and just try to barely beat the board to force them to overcommit things. And these are all named after characters that are in the game as well. A lot of them are. So like Sabrina, Glisvigs, you'll run into her. Vi here, you're running into her. I don't remember if they're all in this specific game, but they are like in the Witcher series. In the 3 games, they're in there somewhere. I think they might all be in this game. Kiara Metz is someone that we'll run into fairly early on in the game. That's who this card's named after. It doesn't really look like her, but... So they are ahead. Actually, we're tied right now. I believe Nilfgaard always wins a tie. Like, you get a passive just by playing the faction, so they always win a tie at the end of a round, and the Northern Realms, if you win a round, you get to draw an extra card. So the Northern Realms do have a very good trait. Okay, we'll throw another one. Try to be careful just in case they have weather effects. So you don't want to overcommit to one row. You can get a horn which doubles your power. See, this is what I was talking about. So they just cast this Biting Frost. So that means that everything in this row only gets 1 power. Now I can do a clear weather effect. What is his thing? Okay, so he gets to play a torrential rain card for free. So what I'm gonna do, and this is clear all weather effects, right? So I'm gonna see if I can bait out his torrential rain here. So I can clear both weather effects at the same time. See if he goes for this or not. So I do not want to play these because they get stronger when you put them together. I want to hold them until the next round. Now, I'm pretty far ahead of him right now. I could just end the round if I think it's going to take him 2 cards to beat me. I do get to draw an extra card if I win the round. Okay, we'll throw another one down here. Okay, now we are up 1 card because he's played, and we're up 11 points. So I think it's going to take him at least 2 more cards to beat me this round, and so if he does that and wins, then I'll be up 5 cards to 2 anyways. So I think I'm just gonna, so I could overcommit to the board, like I could play another really big card, and then I'd blow him out, but then if he just gives up the round, then we'd be tied 4-4 on cards for the next 2 rounds. So if you're really far ahead like this, sometimes it's good just to pass. Like if I hold down space, that means I'm not gonna play any more cards, and he can play as many as he wants. So if he plays 2 or even 3 cards to win the round, I'll have such a huge advantage in theory that I'll be able to win the next 2 rounds. See what I'm saying? Versus if I just play a strong card now and then I go to like 26, then he just says, okay, well you just wasted a card, I'm gonna pass because I'm gonna lose the round anyways. And then we're tied on cards and it's a lot closer for the next 2 rounds. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pass here. You just kind of have to make a judgment call by how far ahead you think they are. Now he might just pass too. No, he's actually going to play it out. If he was smart, he would have just passed and just given me the round, I think. But he's one of the early ones in the game, so he's not really that good. But a lot of the other like better players, because the AI gets smarter as you go on, certain players are way better than others. This is just kind of a pretty much a gimme. Like they just kind of give you this one. So he has no cards left, so he just has to pass automatically. Then all I have to do is just play 1 card and then just pass and I'll win. So you'll see more, and you'll kind of get the hang of it as we keep going. It's a pretty cool little game, and there are like some really tricky opponents out there too.
You've a knack for this game. If you ever find yourself in Oxenfurt and wish to play a true master, ask for Stepan. A simple innkeep by trade, but a true maestro when it comes to Gwent.
And they give you
I'll
hints on
remember
other
that.
people, and they'll
Thanks.
give you quest lines to go find other Gwent players when you beat the weaker ones. They'll you can work your way up the food chain with stronger ones. So they're not like, aside from like the innkeep, like just ask everyone who runs a shop, just talk to them, and it'll show up with a little thing. If they play Gwent, you can just play them. But other than that, there are quest lines. So I just got a new card, ZOLTAN CHIVAY. To go here, go to Gwent. You can sub it in before games too, but you can go ahead and put it in pre-game as well. So I think we'll go ahead and get rid of one of these siege guys. Well, I guess we'll keep the siege guy. Like, basically, his trait is he gives 1 extra bonus to any other siege people that are out there. I think, right? Excluding himself. So I guess there has to be 2 other siege equipment for him to be useful. Versus this guy's just more universally useful. So I think we'll just get rid of that. Yeah, you always want to keep the minimum number of cards. Just so you have the highest probability of getting your good cards. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this real quick. Okay.
Yes? What is it, Wolf?
Realize it's been half a year since we hunted down that fiend in Varun.
Yes. Well, that was more than a fiend. What was that bastard's name? Drugan? May the soil lie light upon him. Things used to be simpler. Monsters were bad, humans good. Now, everything's all confused.
Used to be exactly the same. You've just forgotten.
Do well not to point up my age. You're near a century old yourself.
See you later, Vesemir.
I might eat a little bit more of this food, just kind of heal up a bit here. Alright.
Done drinking?
Mm-hmm.
Then fuck off.
Don't want your kind here.
Haven't done anything to you, so just calm down.
Of course not. You done nothing.
Horsel's working witchcraft. Get him!
So, if you're fighting people and you don't want to kill them, usually in town, you know, and sometimes he just doesn't want to kill people. You just go up and fist fight them. You don't really control if that happens or not if you pull your sword. It's just kind of event driven. Most of the time. There might be a couple of times when you can choose to draw or to fist fight somebody, but usually it's just event driven where you just fist fight them. You can still die. You will have to reset if you die. If they punch me to death there, and they hit pretty hard on Death March, if you get punched, you could die. And there is kind of like a fight club type of thing, especially in the bigger cities. You can go around and do the fight clubs, and we'll do that. The fight club, there's horse races, there's Gwent games, there's a lot of mini games, and we'll try to do as much of it as we can here. Now she was watching me through the window. I don't remember how she feels about that.
Something else you'll be needing.
Nilfgaardian rule to your liking?
What's there to like? 'Tis the same as any other. They tax us, requisition this or that. But they do keep the peace in the village, I'll grant them that.
You don't mourn Temeria's passing?
I mourned it round half a year back, when King Foltest was cut down. Now I just want peace.
Farewell.
So Temeria, the north used to be a bunch of different factions. Temeria was one of them. It was kind of the most known and that's going to show up in the plot the most. There were several other ones as well. Redania, Temeria, and now they're all being united under this new kind of semi-emperor guy that's trying to stand up against the Nilfgaardians. King Radabid.
We meet again.
Thank you for saving me. People say all kinds of things about witches, but I've always known yours to be an honorable guild.
So you managed to salvage some goods?
Yes, but I await the repair of my wagon. As time passes, my losses grow. Do you need something? I'll let it go half-free.
So he gives you a discount on stuff because you didn't charge him earlier, I think.
Let me have a look at your stock.
Okay, so no cards here. This torn out, this Griffin decoction's actually kind of a big deal. Let me go ahead and just sell. Usually the like the fiend stuff is pretty good, and we're gonna be killing a ton of fiends over time. So I think just selling some of these. Yeah, we'll just sell all that. We'll get a lot more of those in there, and then I just want to buy this decoction, which is for a crafting item. So yeah, the main stuff that's worth a lot of money.
Take care.
Now some of this stuff, as I said before, may not be available later. I don't know if they patched that out. I know some people are complaining about that because it's so early in the campaign. A lot of people just aren't min-maxing everything. So I will wander around a little bit with some stuff, but I am going to try to move it along just so we can get as far in the campaign as possible. So we're just going to check out these things. So you can check out this, it's like a bulletin board. A lot of places will have this, and you just kind of read through. They're kind of funny. But I'm just going to grab these, not read everything. Missing brother. And some of them will start quest lines. It'll give you markers, undisclosed locations.
Who told you that?
So this is something you can read. Miraculous Book of Gwent, Yennefer's Letter, Contract by the Well, and things like that. So you hit that.
Jetty!
Listen carefully. You're never to sing that rhyme again. Never.
So now we can get these secondary quests. I think quest is J, yeah. Ask Odalin about the contract. So this is a Witcher contract where you get paid money to go do stuff. You have secondary quests, which is missing in action. Go find this guy. And then main quest is Lilac and Gooseberry. So if you just want to skip everything, you can, but we're going to do as many secondaries and Witcher contracts as we can. But yeah, we're going to abridge a little bit of that stuff, once again, just so we can do as much as we can. But you could easily sink hundreds and hundreds of hours into just walking around, grabbing every possible drop you could get, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to grab that. Okay, so that sharpens your blades to do a little bit more damage for about an hour, provided you don't die. Okay, so we're going to talk to Willis here.
What happened here?
Oh, got a wee bit chilly the night, so I set fire to my forge. Got it nice and roaring. Roasted some wieners. What do you think happened, dimwit? Some bugger set alight me workshop. I've lost everything. Everything!
Sorry. Any suspects?
Whole damned village. I've lived here half a century. Thought they saw me as one of their own. But everything changed when the Black Ones came.
It's Nilfgaard,
The only smith around, so I got to service their garrison. Bang dents out of plate, shoe horses. That sort of thing. Nilfgaardians don't pay me a bloody copper. Just give me supplies and orders. But humans can't fathom that. They think I'm getting rich off their misfortune. That I sleep on a pile of gold like a ploughing dragon. They've stopped talking to me. Spit when I pass. And now this.
I can find your arsonist, provided you're willing to pay.
I've not much left, but I'll give you all if you bring me that horse in, so that he gets what he deserves. The night of the fire, I heard movement outside my hut. Went out to see if I could find any tracks, but found nothing. But then I haven't got cat eyes, have I? Good luck.
Okay. So you can follow a bunch of different quests. You can choose which ones you want to go through. So you can use those Witcher senses. Just a certain button kind of gives you this cool effect. And it's almost like a murder mystery type of thing that you can hunt out. So we're just looking for clues here. I guess we might as well pick these. I mean, these aren't even really worth that much gold, but if they're like there, they are ingredients in some things, but you can just buy them. Oh, I just saw what we're looking for here.
Blueprints. A man's. Large.
You can't run while you're doing this, I'm pretty sure. No. If you just tap it every now and then, you can see. If it has the little,
Stinks of piss. And vodka.
I can't remember the name. It has a little icon on it. Magnifying glass. So yeah, just following trails, seeing different things.
Took off his boots and went in the water. Probably wanted to cover his trail. Something jumped out of the rushes. Drowners. But he managed to escape. Lost his boots in the rush. Tracks lead back to the village.
Ah! Is it true? Northern women bathe.
Bleeding, but not badly. Surface wound.
My gran told me about a Smith's boy. Lad went missing one day, so folk nabbed a witchman that was hunting nearby. Started poking him, asking. Well, he started twisting and squirming, so wham bam, they knocked his head off.
Oh, so it was some drowner that had sapped on
Freak.
Witcher had naught to do with it. What did the folk do? They could have sewed his head back on.
Word is, they laid his corpse to rest hush-hush in a crypt.
Trail ends here, but I'll recognize him by his wounds.
So yeah, if you can grab all the stuff, it doesn't really hurt you karma-wise or anything like that in like some of these little huts and houses. It's not like it. Sometimes you can find some pretty cool stuff in there, you know, but you're not gonna miss out on an absolute ton. But yeah, I mean, why not? You know, you're there, you might as well grab stuff. Spam the E button, grab them all. You can just sell some of the stuff later. Now, if you're around guards and guards see you grab stuff like in the middle of town, then that's bad. They might come after you, but okay.
Drowner claw marks. It's gotta be him. Nasty wound. Run into a drowner?
What the fuck do you care?
Whoa, our arsonist's a charmer too. Come on, Smith wants to talk to you.
I ain't not talk to a non-human. Sons of bitches all, and dwarves are the worst. Greedy little magpies, do anything for gold, they will. They forge the blades the black ones put to our throats, am I not right? Listen, we can work this out, man to man. I give you gold, you don't turn me in. My mum died a while back and I sold her tools. I've spent some, but what's left is yours.
Magpies and dwarves might be greedy, but I'm not. Can't buy me.
Then I'll beat your fucking mug to a pulp!
Calm down. Now follow me.
I don't remember what happens if you run so far away from him. He walks really slowly though, so I'm just gonna... Yeah. I think the first time I did it, I was just staggering around with him. It's so slow.
What's going on? Here you go. One village pyromaniac in the flesh.
Nap? You? I knew your mum for years. Charged her nary a copper. This is how you repay me. I've had enough. Hey, soldier. A minute of your time, please.
No! Willis, I beg you. I was drunk. Didn't know what I was doing.
I've told you, Master Willis. We will help you rebuild once reinforcements come. The supplies have been ordered.
Not what this is about, mate. This here's the arsonist. A witcher found him.
The forge was important to the garrison. Destroying it was sabotage. No trial needed here. Just a tree.
Yeah, don't screw around. In Witcher world.
Harsh as punishment goes.
But deserved. You know, I hated the Black Ones at first, like everybody else did. Now I'm thinking they might just bring order to this place. Teach these layabouts some manners. But enough about that. Your reward.
Just hang them from the trees.
And I managed to save some things from the fire. Anvil still holds, so I'm sure I can bang something out on it. You need anything, let me know. Give you a good price.
So you get a discount too for helping them out. And you get a little bit of money. 20 crowns.
A return customer.
Show me what you got.
Okay, so these diagrams, you can also get diagrams for different gear. I think most of these are not really worth, like, they're okay. You'll see a lot of them again. Later on in the game, kind of in the mid-game, you can find some pretty good stuff, but you can get some patterns from quests as well. Especially there's, like, special Witcher gear at different levels. Now, that is a little harder to go find. We are going to go hunt that stuff down, but that Witcher gear is usually some of the best gear for quite a while in the game.
I'd like you to forge something for me.
For different schools, like the Cat School is a light gear, you know, that's themed around the critical strike and faster movement and stuff like that. And then, okay, you could upgrade or repair stuff as well. I think crafting, what's the yeah. Nah, you don't need anything too much from here.
So long.
So yeah, there are some specialty sets of gear, and you get bonuses for having everything in the set. Okay, so let's do another quest here. Let's see, we got the Witcher contract, Devil by the Well. Recommends level 2 on that one. Let's just go with this one first. Usually if it's within a few levels, like, you can probably do it, especially if you get decent with the combat. You know, I've fought stuff that's several levels higher. Now if it's red, there are some monsters that'll be red. If they're red, it is extremely difficult to beat them. Like, they get all kinds of extra stats. Okay. So if we look at the map here, all of these little question marks are different places you can go that are places of interest. So you don't necessarily know what they are yet, but someone's mentioned them in passing, or sometimes they just give you a couple on the map. But like some of those little bulletin board things that we saw, they didn't give us a direct quest, but they might say something like, oh, such and such was lost wandering in this area, or I've heard there's some strange noises coming from this area, and it'll mark a place on the map for you to go check out later. So it's always cool if you kind of go through and check all this stuff out. I can't honestly remember what every single one of those markers are. I do remember, you know, obviously what some of the big, like, main quest things are, but it's usually a good place to go. And when you start dealing with some of the question marks, and invariably you'll find some more question marks. So, am I going the right way here? I think so. Yes.
Slow now. Whoa.
So here's one. I can't remember which side of the bridge it's on. I think it's this. Okay. So Smuggler's Cache. So you find a couple of things like that. Emerald dust, that type of stuff. It's very, very good early on. Good money. Anything that's like the crafting. And we'll get more into that as we go on. You don't need a ton of that, or like, especially those lesser stones. You change gears so frequently early on in the campaigns. There's like, everything's an upgrade. I really, like, you can add these glyphs to your gear and it gives you like, you know, 1% extra critical strike or something like that. I would just, honestly, I'd probably just sell a lot of that stuff. Okay. I think this is, yeah, we'll go ahead and save this. Chance I die here. I mean, I'm probably gonna die at some point in this campaign. But yeah, these guys can be pretty for real. Ghouls are very dangerous because there's usually a bunch of them in a pack, especially on death marks. They can do quite a bit of damage, so you gotta be careful. Okay, I got one of them. Usually after you get like 2 or 3 attacks, then like after they do their little hop back, they almost always counter you. Different monsters have different sorts of like fighting patterns. There is some randomness too, like you can't perfectly predict everything. Yeah, when they do the little hop back. Now these abandoned sites are places that have usually been, like if you kill all the ghouls or all the drowners or whatever's protecting them, then usually there's some sort of, I don't know if this actually helps endings or like different things go on, but it does give you a liberation there, and usually there's some sort of like shopkeeper or something that you can get access to, and usually they have like decent stuff. They'll have items that you may not be able to find anywhere else, or like rare items.
What?
This guy's an herbalist. Has the little
got anything interesting
herb thing next to him, but he happens to have a lot of ingredients for these decoctions, which are, I think you can get these later on in the game. Either way, I can't afford all of these right now, so I can sell that. Put onto the empty spirits here. What else do we have? We can sell. We're gonna kill like 1 billion ghouls this game, so I just sell whatever. And you can't sell these here, these lesser runestones. You can sell them to smiths though. So some people won't buy certain things, some people will. And the shopkeeper has a certain amount of gold too. They only have 131, so I couldn't like bring up 2,000 gold worth of stuff and just sell it to him. But these are decoctions. Those are like your big, heavy-hitting formulas. So usually you have to kill the monster before you can use the decoction. So like I would need to kill a water hag before I could craft this water hag decoction. You need other components as well. But he's got some nice stuff. I don't think he ever disappears, and I'm pretty sure we can find these later on as well. But this white gold is actually really important also. We'll go ahead and get this, I believe. Dwarven Spirit's pretty important as well, but yeah, we'll come back to this guy, so we want to remember where he is on the map.
Farewell.
Okay, so he's right here. Sometimes it's hard to remember everything, but okay, we'll go ahead and grab that. Anything else here? Look at this.
Ours is a decent village.
Witchers.
You damn Witchers. I just saved your life, or I at least gave you back your shrine. Okay, so there's something else down here that we got kind of as a freebie. Now, we're still level 1 after all this, so as I said, you kind of level up a bit slower.
Medallion's humming.
Place of Power gives you a free skill point. A lot of times this place is guarded by something. So this is actually guarded by a big bear, but I just kind of snuck by it. But I was going to kill the bear anyways. We'll do the fight. Just to show you something cool here. But yeah, usually this bear is... Oh, it's getting up now. I was like, yeah, if it's asleep, I kind of feel bad. Oh god, now I don't feel bad. We need an ingredient from a bear.